Hi, I'm going to introduce you guys to a recipe that I have. It's called a breakfast taxi, aka Tennessee taxi. Now the reason I call it Tennessee taxi because in New York City, and a taxi driver was eating this Subway sandwich, and I asked him what kind of sandwich is that. He called it a taxi. A lot of places they call them Subways, they call them poor boys, they call them taxis. So when I got home, I made my own style sandwich, remembering the story. I called it a Tennessee taxi from New York City. We start off with sourdough bread. You can use any kind of sourdough bread. I like to use the little long ones because it makes the sandwich a little long. I put some cheese in there on the bottom. Then I put some Canadian bacon because we're using for breakfast this time. Then what I like to do is I like to put some roasted peppers on top of this sandwich in here on one side. So I got the roasted peppers. I also like to get avocado slices and I put it on the other side of the sandwich. And I keep everything on top of the meat or the Canadian bacon in this sandwich, so that when I start making the eggs and put them on there, it won't run or won't get soggy. Everything will stay inside. Okay, I'm going to make a few sandwiches, a few Tennessee taxis, so I use 3 eggs. Along with the 3 eggs, I got some tomato, I got some onion, and I got a little bit of milk that I mix in my eggs. I scramble them together, and once I do that and I cook it, once it's done, I'll add it to my Tennessee taxi. I have my little olive oil here to a hot pan that I got going. Remember, when working with heat, you gotta be careful. It'll burn you. So while that's heating up, the oil, I'm gonna start buttering my sandwich. This sandwich is gonna be grilled, so I want it to look good and have a nice little buttery flavor on it. The pan should be heated up. Actually, so we got our eggs cooking in here, so you can see. Let this cook a little more and then I'll fold it. Now, if you're doing this at home, you can start the egg process first because it takes a little while. And once this is cooking, just let it sit here and go and start working on your sandwich. How do you like your eggs? Medium? Medium well? Boiled? I like mine tossed. Okay, this is about ready. Just get a little bit of that egg. You add it to one side of your sandwich. And if you're like me, I like a lot of egg in my sandwich. So I add it on the other side. Now this recipe, you can use this recipe for breakfast. You can use this recipe for lunch. You can use this recipe for dinner. All you have to do is change the star ingredient. Use everything else instead of putting egg. If you want it for lunch, maybe some roast beef instead of Canadian bacon, some turkey, or maybe some ham. If you want it for dinner, get some carne asada like I do on that barbecue, put it in the middle, and you got you a nice carne asada taxi. Okay, once you got your sandwich done, put it over onto the other side. You get it all together, and you put it over here on the grill. And we grill this. Now you let that grill for a few minutes so it starts to brown on the bottom of your sourdough bread. You see all the ingredients, you double them up, and it's a pretty good sized sandwich. That'll fill you up. And then I'll flip it over, that way I can see if it grilled it, but it hasn't grilled it yet. It's still a little bit on the medium side. But you can see that sandwich is big and mouth-watering now. Meanwhile, this one's warming up. I'm going to go ahead and start on another one. Once I get this done, what I like to do is cut it in half so that I can eat it. So I don't think I can eat this whole thing by myself. Tennessee taxi truck. Here we go. Joe Valley here with a little tip from JS West Farms. We have grading machines that check the exterior of the egg for any dirts or any cracks. But we also have in our grading system, we can check the interior of the egg. We can check for blood or meat spots. That's what we can check, and we guarantee that these eggs are very clean and well on the inside. Now, if you are getting your eggs from a chicken at home, then here's a little tip for you. Crack your egg, put it in a plate, and look at it. And if it looks good, then you transfer it over into your other bowl. That way, in case the next egg that you crack happens to have blood in it or a meat spot, you're not going to be mixing it with your other eggs. Sometimes your egg might be a little older than you expected, and it might be runny. You could also look at that to see and make sure that it's not runny as you mix them. That's your tip. Thanks.